Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Saturday edition of Santa Talk. I appreciate you guys being here. This was kind of an unscheduled show, but I had such an outpouring from last week's show from Santas and asking questions. Talked to a Santa today from Maine, reaching out to me and just had so many more questions and really appreciate it. He said that he made his first purchase, watched some Dan C videos that I recommended, made his first purchase. And I absolutely love it. He was just wanting to go over some routine stuff. So I was happy to talk to him. And one of the funny comments he made was, "Hey, you were right about Dan C. I just left a question and he answered it right away." I said, "I told you that's what he's all about." But I would like to think that's what a lot of us are about, not just in the Santa community, but also the bearded community, that if we can help somebody out, that we'll be able to do that. And that's what I'm here for, guys. Really trying to bridge that gap in between the Santa and the bearded community, because I think that they work and can work hand in hand. But I'm excited for our guest tonight. And a real quick funny story is I kind of reached out to him last night to ask him, and before he responded, I was already kind of making up the plans for having him on anyway. And but luckily he was gracious enough, and he's got some pretty neat announcements to make that happened today, but I'll leave that up to him. I want to say hello to everybody in our chat so we can go ahead and get started. Chris, aka Ughu, was here at 8:46 p.m. last night to say hello. So hello, Chris, if you happen to jump in. Hey, what's going on there, Born Bearded Dave? Appreciate you being here so much. Santa Daniel, appreciate you so much for being here, man. Santa's Restoration Workshop. How you doing, brother? It's good to have you here. Santa William, appreciate you, man. I think holy cow, the sun has just come out. Well, yeah, it's been out here all day. It's been a beautiful day, a little cool, but beautiful all day. Santa Allen, appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. All right, I think. And Bubba, Santa Bubba, how you doing? A lot of Santas in here tonight, guys. Tell us real quick, if you can, tell us where you're checking in from. How's the weather where you're at? When I say it's cold, it's 45 degrees here today. Sun shining all day, wind blowing, but pretty cold for East Texas. So supposed to get down to 25 tonight. So not liking this cold weather, guys. And right, we got Bob and Terry Jones, and our guest tonight is Bob Jones. So and Terry, his lovely wife, watching in. Thank you all so much. Terry, appreciate you letting Bob come on tonight. I appreciate that. All right. Coffee with Brewer, we're just talking about you behind the stage. I'm glad you're listening in. Please make sure you listen to an announcement that Bob's going to have here in just a minute. Hey, Miles, how you doing, brother? Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you, brother. All right. Looking forward to hey, thank you so much, Santa Frank. Appreciate you. And the gentleman I said I was talking to earlier, here he is, right here. Santa Frank, thank you so much for being here. All right, David, how you doing, brother? It's good to have you here. Having a wonderful weekend, man. It's going by too fast, but it is a good one. Kay Houston, how you doing, brother? Good to have you here. All right. I am about caught up right now. Somebody said Daniel said Florida, and it's 40 right now. And our guest tonight is joining us from Florida. And guys, he had he's been doing the circuit of beard competitions, and he had one today. But I'm going to bring Bob Jones on, good friend of not only this show, but the Trace Amigos and the Bearded Respect and the bearded community. And hopefully when you guys get to know him, friends of the Santa community as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring him on and look at this glorious beard and talk about some beard products and some good old beard stuff. Hey, Robert.
Hey, everybody. Good chilly evening. How's everybody doing tonight?
Well,
good to see everyone.
Here we go. All right.
Here we are.
Put the guest of honor in the big spotlight.
I see how you did that.
Well, Bob, thank you so much. And before we get started, I would like, if you don't mind, I would like you. Hello, Miss Terry.
Coffee. Hey, cheers, brother.
Hey, shout out to Brewer, but and I really want him to listen to this. But if you don't mind, would you mind telling people where you were at today and kind of how it went?
Well, we had been looking at, we were invited to attend a beard competition. So that was just over in Orlando. So we're a half an hour out. So we took the drive over. And as most of these competitions are, they're for a particular cause. So the monies that they collect, the things that are sold, they had different raffles and give the things that was the whole idea, was just to bring some money in. And it was held at the University High School in Orlando. And it was particularly for the benefit of the Future Farmers Association there, the young farmers. So that was cool. We got to go over there and participate in that. And of course, those of you who have been around the bearding community know that these are always, they have these categories. So I was in the 8-inch to 12-inch category, and well, I won my category today. So the winners at the end wind up usually competing in a best of show, and I pulled that one off also. So it was a successful day today. So I'm kind of riding on a high. I hope you all understand.
I absolutely love it. And for those of you that have never been to a beard competition, one thing that Jeff Harmon, who's a good friend of the show and also in the bearded community, has always said to me and has stuck with me is it's all about the charity.
That's right.
That's we go, of course, it's inherent as I think, especially as men, we want to, hey, we want to win, we want to have fun, but the most important thing is the charity. But brother, the reason why I wanted to have you on the show tonight, Bob, and I appreciate such short notice jumping on, was because so many people have reached out from the beard show last week and talking about beard products, that I just wanted to get somebody that was in that had a glorious white beard, but wasn't necessarily involved in the Santa community, and kind of get that outside perspective of how that you take care of your beard, that white beard, and just kind of some of the routine. So I'm going to turn it over to you. If you run out of things to talk about, I will ask you some questions, but I would just like everybody to know kind of your daily, weekly routine, some things that you do, and you may start getting some discolorization in your beard. Is that a word? Discolorization?
Close enough for us, brother.
All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to let you take it away and talk to these people about the importance of using quality products. Who's some of your favorite people that you listen to, get advice from, maybe some favorite products that you have, but go ahead and take it away, sir.
Well, that opens the world, man. I grew up and had grown beards off and on since I was in my 20s. And I'd just grow a short beard and then cut it off. And that was, I grew up in Tennessee. So that's kind of, just grow a beard, shave it off, grow a beard, shave it off. But about 2 years ago, I decided, and thank you, Santa Alan. I think 2 years ago, we just decided, I'm just going to let it grow. Let's just see what we can do. And so that's what we did. Listen, I took a shower, washed my hair with shampoo, just like in my beard. I used regular soap on my face. I mean, I did all that too. But the reason, and yes, Miles Phil was there as well. He won first place in his category, which was the 12-inch and over. But I did the same thing that we all do, which is I did what I knew to do. I wanted to keep it clean. But what I was doing with that soap was actually drying my beard, not only the hair, but the skin underneath it. And listen, growing a beard is I'm sure can be compared to doing a Santa Claus role. It's a process. Learning how to do it is a process. But in your situations, I think it's part of that persona. And I think learning how to better take care of a beard is a great idea. And I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that? Aside from cost. So you need to consider, how can I do this without breaking the bank? And that's where, I would advise you start out. There are some products that I think would be the best to start with. There are some other products that you might find later down the pike that you think, you know what, I would like to add this to my routine, or I would like to try this as well. But in my opinion, I see her, the start is with a good beard shampoo, or wash rather. And I heard Dan C say this. Santa Tom said, if you have somebody that that you listen to, that has advice that he gives, that I would advise anyone who wants to know anything about beard care to tune in to Dan C Bearded. Join up, follow, subscribe, watch his videos, join in his live YouTubes. He is a person who is committed to the health of your beard. So and he does a lot of research, he does a lot of study, and he is a teacher by trade or by profession. So he has the skill set to be able to put that information out there in a way that it's easily understood. And with over 100,000 followers on YouTube, he's doing something right. But one of the most amazing things that I have found, and you will too, is that if you reach out to him with a question, he will answer you, and he'll answer you quickly. So in talking about where were we at? Well, we were talking about beard wash. And so in talking about beard wash, he posed a question, and I've thought about this several times. If you were to go for a week without taking a shower, besides your wife throwing you out of the house, if you were to go for a week without taking a shower, think about this. Your head would be a greasy mess, but your beard would be a straw pile. I don't know about you, but that says something to me.
Right.
There are two different environments going on here. And if you use a shampoo to take the oiliness from the head, you're going to also take the natural oils from the beard, and it will be more drying than you want on that beard. Mm. There's a pH level here. There's a pH level here. They vary. So you want to find a company where you can buy a good, solid, daily beard wash. And I recommend washing daily. In fact, I do wash daily. Conditioner, okay, fine. You can get into that. But the first thing is going to be get a good daily beard wash. Do that daily. Then you need to replace the oils that you're losing. So think about it. When you start growing a beard, what's the first complaint that you experience yourself? First complaint is this: my God, this thing is driving me crazy with itching. Tom, for years now, I thought that that's because the hair was growing and prickling my face. I really thought that. That's not the case. What's happening is the oils from your skin that normally would keep your skin moistened are being leached down into the beard. So guess what? The skin is dry. Now, when you've got dry skin, what do you have? you've got itch. And if you have itch for too long, you wind up with a form of dandruff or a beardruff on your beard. So you've got flaking, you've got dryness. That can all be cured with some good beard oil. You use beard oil, you use it, you scratch it into, you use your fingers and massage it into the skin and down the beard. You want to use beard oil all the way to take care of the beard, take care of the mustache, get in the beard, get underneath the beard, and replace that oil that's being leached out and or washed out, necessarily washed out even. Well, that's what, these are the two primary products. You see my fine dog over here, I think. That's my 17-year-old Jack Russell Terrier.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are the two primary things.
Right.
Now, I will tell you, when I've got a white beard, I know you wouldn't have guessed that, but I've got a white beard and it gets discolored sometimes. It could get discolored from the environment, just natural, everyday things. It can get discolored from product use. Some products have a yellowing effect. Some products, believe it or not, I have used some products that have a red cast to them. They don't permanently stain my beard, but they can color your beard. I use the purple shampoo. That's what I use to take that discoloration out of my beard. I don't use that as a stripping wash. I use it only when I need to bring my beard back to white. I don't bleach it. I don't feel like I need to do that. I don't color it. I don't feel that I need to do that. I'm 63 years old, so I understand. Most of you guys are in here are grown men, and you don't need people telling you what to do and what not to do. That's not my point. My point is to tell you what I do because it works for me. And but when I use that, I do understand that it is chemical. It is a product that is chemical. I make sure on the days, and I probably don't do that. I doubt I use a color removal. I doubt I use it monthly, probably not even once a month. But I will tell you one thing. When I do, and before I would recommend you doing it, make sure you've got some good, thick, solid, rich beard conditioner. Because I will not use chemical like that on my face without I rinse it out completely. Then I come back in with conditioner and leave that conditioner on there 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes if you can. You don't need to go all the way to the skin with your conditioner. It's not necessary. That's not what conditioner's for. It's for the hair. But when you use a chemical like that, you can and will dry your hair. Folks, put some conditioning in there and soften it back up again. Don't let what you're using to help your beard harm it. So, yeah, that's a few of the things that I do.
Well, one of the reasons, and people might be wondering, well, why are we talking about this? Why I asked Bob to talk about this? Because one of the biggest reasons is because mainly the questions that I get. You know, I had a Santa reach out to me today. It's funny. That's not funny, but I'm honored. Dan C jumped in here today. Thank you so much. Hope you and the wife are doing good. But Santa reached out to me today. I said earlier in the show, he reached out and said, you weren't joking. I reached out and asked Dan C a question and he answered me right back. I said, well, it's what he does. That's what he does for a living. But I had reached out with a question not too long ago, and I won't go into it right now, but it's something that I get asked a lot by Santas, and we will be doing a show on it. I'm really doing my research and want to reach out to professionals to talk to them about it and the benefits or harm or anything like that. But I get a lot of questions about the purple shampoo. Now, I've never personally used the purple shampoo in my beard, but I get asked about it all the time. And people are going to do it, right? They're going to use it. People are going to bleach their beards. I don't, it's not something I recommend, but they're going to do it because that's, they want that. They want what Bob has right there, right? They just can't get it naturally. My beard is salt and pepper. I do have to use a whitener when the season comes, but the same thing. I really make sure it gets cleaned really good afterwards and immediately conditioned. So to get it back, but really appreciate that. Now you talked about the most important things. Okay, the beard wash, definitely beard oil for your face and your beard. So tell folks how often you use beard oil. Now, obviously, you use a beard wash, probably I'm sure once a day, but beard oil. How often do you use beard oil a day?
Sure. So, to the purple shampoo, let me say this: if there is a better idea, I'm open to hearing it. I use that. It's like I said about early on, we wash our beard with everything else. Well, because that's what I know. That's what I know will help keep the color in the beard. And there may be some other things besides that, and I would welcome those conversations. So as far as how often do I use oil, it is every time I wash my beard. It is daily. And usually that's a morning thing. Now, sometimes I have to get up and throw a rinse on, comb the hair or comb the beard out and run because I have to be here. I have to do that. But eventually during that day, sometime I'm going to get some wash on this beard and into the skin. We're going to get out here and we're going to get the skin clean. We're going to get the hair clean and we're going to re-oil. That is a daily thing. If I do shower or bathe in the morning and oil the beard, I usually at night will rinse off, just a good cool rinse, and re-oil the beard. So it's usually twice a day. Now that can depend on different factors. If like right now it's been colder weather, obviously the humidity's down. I mean, even in Florida, man, the humidity's down. It's cold down here. It's dry down here.
Sure.
And if you think your beard doesn't know that, stand up and pay attention, gentlemen, because your beard will start saying, we're dry. And learn that. Learn to listen. You learn to listen to your body say, I'm thirsty. Now you get a drink of water or what have you. So it's same with your beard. Your beard will communicate to you as you learn to hear it. Then don't ask me if I hear verbal communications. That's for another conversation. But your beard will communicate to you. You can tell when it's getting dry, when it needs that extra attention and that oil, and some days it does. Some oils are not as conditioning maybe as others. That's another thing that you'll learn as you go through the process. What works for you? What blends work for you? What carriers work for you? Are there some things that you prefer to use maybe when it is warmer weather? Versus when it's colder weather. These are things to work out throughout the process. The key thing is use a gentle wash and use a good oil.
Right. And guys, I have in the description after the video, for those of you watching this later, there will be a list of companies. There's a ton of companies out there. There's a ton of good companies out there that I don't have down there, but I do have some that are. I do have a few affiliate codes, not many anymore, 2 or 3. But I also have discount codes, and I also threw a couple in there, like Weatherbeard and a couple others with Dan C's affiliate codes in there as well. So those are in there. Take advantage. There's plenty of discount codes on there to save you. Usually the cost of it rounds up to about the cost of shipping, right? So you save a little bit of money, but those companies are highly recommended. check them out. Everything that we've talked about. William has a question. If you oil your beard after you have beard butter in it, will it affect it differently?
Generally, the order would be to oil the beard first. That's just the order. Getting into beard butter, what I will do, and I do use beard butter again, pretty much daily. When I oil my beard, I'll allow that oil some time. It might be 3 minutes, it might be 5 minutes, it might be 10 minutes, but I allow that oil some time to soak in. For lack of a better word, let it soak in, let it moisturize the skin, so that when you may feel some oil on your beard, but you don't feel your beard just sopping wet with oil. That's, you've got to let it soak in. That's when I'll put some butter on my hands, and I'll start just like this with the butter. Again, don't need that on the skin. It's good. It's good for the hair. But the butter comes after the oil. That's the generally accepted rule.
Yeah, because one of the things we did talk about last week is once you put that butter on it, remember it's that condition, it seals, right? It acts as a sealant. So you want to get that butter in, what Bob is saying, so it absorbs in, and then that oil in, so it absorbs, and then once you put the butter, it'll seal that in there. And Dan brings up a good point. Don't forget, Dan Eipert, don't forget to have to find a beard oil that works best for you. Absolutely, different hair types. Not everyone's beard the same. There's a lot of people that want to use a lighter beard oil, which works fine to me, but I tend to have to use a lot of it, to where if I use a thicker beard oil, let's say from, name a company. What's the first company that comes to mind when you think about a thick beard oil?
Hardiest Man.
Artiest Man. In fact, it's one of the top ones at the list. I use a lot of Artiest Man, right? It's probably the thickest oil out there on the market. I do make my own. And for those that may have a question, well, you make your own. What do you mean you make your own? I do my own DIY stuff, and I'm gonna tell you how I do it. Dan C has a video, imagine that, on DIY, and he has a light, a medium, and a thick blend, and I make my own just from time to time because I just enjoy it, right? But that thicker oil works better for me. I don't know about Bob, but that castor really coats the white hair and does really, really well for me. What's your take on that, Bob?
I really enjoy mixing it up. And the reason is because, every oil, if you were to study and just look at, okay, here's a list of carrier oils. If you studied each of those carrier oils, and some of these companies will list these benefits on their website, it's good information. So why do we use hemp seed oil? Why do we use babassu oil? Why do we use sea buckthorn oil?
Right.
Why do we use this oil? Why do we use that oil? Well, those oils have particular benefits. Now, to me, I believe that by mixing the oils around, in other words, I'll use this one on Monday night or Monday, and this one on Tuesday, and this one on, I do that just so I can reap the benefits, if you will, of a variation of oils, because there are a lot of good 100% natural, cold processed oils, good beard oils, not chemicals, not harmful things in them, made by companies throughout this, well, at least throughout the country. Maybe beyond that, but certainly throughout the country. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that? Absolutely.
And guys, we got fine company owners that jump in here every week, and we support and guys, again, there's so many. I like what Dan Eipert said. Hey, you don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money, but
No.
there's plenty. Most of these companies offer sample sizes. Order you some samples, try it out. You're going to find something that you're going to be like, oh, well, that just feels absolutely great. Or, you really like the scents. We've all got our favorites, and there's nothing wrong with that. I tend to stay away from favorites when I'm talking on a show, just because I use so many products. But it's almost like saying, well, which one's your favorite kid, right? You just, it's like, you got maybe one that you prefer every now and then, but you would never say that. We do have a couple questions here. Brewer makes a comment. Bob's beard looks so soft. I bet angels sleep in it. Well, I'm sure he does. He's with Miss Terry, so I'm sure she appreciates that comment.
Ooh, good one, Santa Tom. That's rich.
Hey, shout out, Miss Terry.
Indeed.
Miles asked, do you use extra castor? I don't mix extra castor in mine personally, but the reason why I started this one and wanted to ask you is, first of all, do you? And second, you've already said you mix it up. Somebody reached out to me this last week and asked me if it was okay just to use a castor oil, just castor oil. And I'd like to get your thoughts on that. I'll tell you what I told them. You can use what you want. Is it bad just to use castor? No. But you brought up a good point, Bob. And I think that the extra oils in there, the buckthorn, the argan, the hemp seed, the jojobas, or whatever else you use in there, gives you that extra benefit that just castor alone won't give you. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I think that's true. Now, and again, castor oil is it's a fantastic oil, but some people, castor oil sits, and that's what it does. It just sits there, and they don't absorb it that well. So I wouldn't recommend only castor oil. But again, man, if you're trying to take care of your beard, it's all a learning process anyway, and you're going to do what you feel like you should do and need to do. And I'm going to shake your hand and have a cup of coffee with you on it. There's no argument here over, well, he said, she said, they know what they're talking about, and you have no idea. That's not where any of us are coming from.
Absolutely. Bearded Squatch says, what's the secret of not getting bored with the beard or lazy with the routine? I think that's a good question.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know that it's really a secret. I guess maybe I've just always been one of those duty bound guys. It's you do it because it's the right thing to do, man. There's some people that I go to the gym. I know my doctor said one day, you need to start walking. And I said, I'm making truck payments, so I don't have to. Some people are duty bound to walk, and some people are duty bound to go to the gym. And all of those are wonderful things. And I think with the beard, it's just, I get up and I've got a beard and I'm going to wash it. And
right.
I'm going to do it right. And, it's just kind of one of those things. I don't know that I could address that answer.
Right. I think I approach it, and I've heard others say this in the community, and it's just kind of stuck with me. I couldn't tell you who the first person was that I heard this, because I've heard it several times, that for me, it's therapeutic. It's something when I wake up in the morning, somebody will say, well, what gets you out of bed? Well, there's a lot of things that motivate me to get out of bed. But one of the minor things is I know I've got to get up before I go to work, take care of this, because I don't want to go to work. I just got in the house 15, 20 minutes right before we started the show, so I didn't get a chance to. That's why it looks like a rat's nest. But I know that I've got to get it ready, because what I'm representing as a...
We should all have such a rat's nest, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Well, but for me, if I'm going to be representing who I represent, and that is a professional Santa Claus, I don't want to be out there. I use the term half stepping, right? I don't want to be out there looking like, somebody says, you're a professional Santa. I saw one of your videos. I'm going to tell you guys, it's a constant. I want to represent being a professional. So that's what keeps me motivated. And I hope that answers your question. That's the best I think both of us got right there. William says, can you use beard butter and beard balm together? Kind of goes along with I think, what you said earlier about using the beard butter before the balm. I think this one kind of goes along that same line of, to me, it might be a little overkill. What's your thoughts on that, Bob?
Well, now I have to be honest here and say that I don't use enough balm to comment too much about it, but I do know that there are people who do use both, and you might. I think butter, I would use butter everywhere. And if I wanted maybe a little extra hold, I might put a little balm here. Might even use it just to pull the lips just a little bit, the mustache, if I'm not using wax, which I haven't learned to use that yet, and don't know whether I ever will or not. But, I mean, I've heard cases made for using both. I personally don't feel that I need both. But I could see there's times when maybe we're getting a little crazy out here on the edges while we're trying to let that catch up with the bottom. So yeah, maybe.
Well,
there, Brewer. Brewer's an excellent.
Brewer, right?
Brewer, I mean, he knows a little bit about bearding,
right? And
right?
Coffee with Brewer. If you guys don't follow him, please follow him on YouTube. He's got a great show, Coffee with Brewer, that comes on. It was on this morning. He says, I wear beard oil, butter, and balm together daily. So again, he's figured that out. Yeah, you just got to keep working with it to figure it out on your own. Now, I myself personally, in the mornings, and I never used to use beard balm, but guess who got me down on that train? This man right here, right? Exactly. So I started using balm. I use beard balm or oil and balm in the mornings. At night, I will use a beard oil and butter at night. That's me personally, and I prefer poured butter. That's the solid butter. And I only time I don't use it at night is on my conditioning night. So I hope that answers your question. Appreciate the chiming in there, Brewer. Bearded Wine Guy says, which he is a brand new Santa. Appreciate you being here, my friend. And he says, I wish my beard was that white. I always say, be careful what you wish for. I was talking to Bob about this last night. Mine will get there soon enough, completely white. And I'm sure all of ours will at some point in our life. But thank you so much for being here, man.
You get, that's kind of how it is. You get what you get. And then it's up to you to make the best of it that you can.
Here's the thing with me. You get a lot of people, Bob, bragging about your beard, rightfully so. When people brag about mine, it's almost like, okay, so I served in the Army. So when people come up, and there's kind of a running joke with veterans, and I know that Brewer out there could attest to this, is when somebody comes up and you may be wearing a hat or something, oh, well, thank you for your service. And you're kind of like, what do I do with my hands? That kind of moment, well, you're very appreciative. You just don't know how to answer it. How do you take it when people come up, or because you're so humble about it? When you win another grand champion or another beard competition, people come up and how do you handle that? Or, because to me, you just seem so humble about it.
To me, the whole thing is about the community. It's about the fellowship. It's about the community. And guys, let me just encourage you. If you have not been to a beard competition, and it hadn't been that long ago, I'm looking at the people talking about beard competition, Santa Tom, and I thought, is there really such a thing? Now I'm learning that they're everywhere. So, I mean, every time there's a competition here, I've got another competition next weekend up in Tallahassee. So there are competitions everywhere. Go, walk, compliment, and shake those guys' hands and let them shake your hand. And there's such a camaraderie and such a feeling of we're all in this together. It's really a wonderful thing. I mean, to me, I mean, being humble, I don't have anything to brag about. I have what I have genetically.
Right.
I try to take care of it with good product and using good judgment. And that hasn't always been a, what would you say, an example that I set in my life. But I'm a little older now. So,
you just brought up a good point. I mean, that is something that I think is a good topic to talk about real quick is how much do genetics play into, what you have? I hear so many people say, well, I can't grow this, or I won't grow this, or it won't grow like this person's. We'll talk about that for a minute. How much does genetics play in growing a beard?
Oh, I have no doubt it plays a lot into it. And being married to a nurse, Terry Louise being a nurse and she says, and hug them, don't just shake their hand.
Right.
So, but being married to a nurse, I've learned a lot about genetics, period. Genetics with, if your family has issues with diabetes, pay attention.
Right.
If your family has issues with cancer, pay attention. Oh, that won't happen to me. I'm a life insurance agent. Pay attention. And we're talking about major issues here, but I'm sure, growing a beard or anything else, you've got green eyes, or you've got a crooked pinky, or you've got this, or you've got, and most of that's genetic. And I'm sure the follicle structure and the color and the thickness and the heaviness and the coarseness and all, that's probably genetics is a lot of it.
Well, you'd mentioned earlier, and I know this we sound like Dan C. Homers, but it's just so hard to pay respect to somebody that we appreciate, look up to, and respect so much, but there is literally anytime I have somebody reach out with a question, I have the easy job because I just jump over to YouTube, jump on Dan's channel, type in that question in the little search bar. He's got the little magnifying glass, and 2 or 3 videos will jump up, and I'll copy them, paste them in the message, send it to them, and it's really helped a lot. So that's what really that's what I'm trying to do here, guys, on this channel, is really trying to bridge a gap between 2 different communities. And when guys like Bob come on, are we always going to talk about the Santa suit or what makes a great Santa beard? Maybe not, but I've had so many questions, and I would say probably the number one question I get from newer Santas has to do with the beard. So I really appreciate that, Bob. And tell everybody, have you ever thought or considered about, and I think you may have told me before, you may have played a Santa before for your grandkids, or am I thinking wrong?
I don't think so, but I have people ask me all the time,
right?
Are you going to play Santa this year? And my answer is always, who's playing? So, as far as, I'd have to go with some padding. Now I'm down about, probably 120 pounds from my heavy. So right. So I would have to figure out something. I don't know that it's something that I have an interest in, but who can say?
I think David brings up a good point here, and this kind of leads into what you just said as far as what got me to thinking. Having and embracing a positive mindset plays a big role in the beard game, 100%, because stress can affect beard growth. Stress can affect the hair falling out. I mean,
Yes.
that's I believe scientifically proven. I don't think it's something we would have to sit here and argue about.
Cardiac health. I mean, a whole lot of things.
Right,
Yes,
blood
sir.
flow, exactly. I mean, we talk about, exfoliating the skin under your
Yes.
beard to get blood flow going. Why? To get that nutrition, to get the blood going to your face, which helps in beard growth, right? So that's a very good point, David. But one of the things that bringing the stress in as a Santa, and I'm rolling into this side of things, is during that season, you got the stress of the season. Okay, you got so many events to go to. You got things, which at the end of the day, you are there to make people happy. You're there to make people smile, give people lasting memories. And the reason why I love talking about beard care health so much is because your beard, and I say this almost every week, is just as much as an investment as your suit, your hat, your belts, your boots. We all know how expensive that stuff is, but a lot of people won't blink an eye about going to spend $1,000 on a Santa suit. But when it comes to spending $20 on a beard oil, it's going to last you probably about a month. They kind of grit their teeth and cringe. And I see these kind of comments all the time on Santa pages. Well, you don't need that stuff. You don't. To grow a beard, you don't have to put anything in it.
Correct.
Now, if you want a healthy beard, we say this all the time. What can you add to that, Bob? I mean, do you agree with that? You can put whatever you want in your beard.
That's right.
More than likely, it's going to grow, correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on. They were growing beards for generations. Now, if you don't need $500 in your wallet, but I'll tell you what, it would sure make things easier sometimes. And the same thing with good, and people look at, well, why would I spend money on a beard wash? Listen, folks, seriously now, when you've got, most beard washes are in an 8-ounce dispenser, some in 4, but most are 8. You will use about a nickel's size, maybe a quarter size in your palm to wash this beard. If you've got a smaller beard, you're talking about a dime size to a penny size. That $20 bottle of beard wash will possibly last you a year. I'm serious. It'll last a good long time. Same thing as what Santa Tom was saying about beard oil. Last you a month, depending on the size of your beard. I can get 6 to 7 or maybe even 8 good uses out of one bottle of oil. And that's using it, a couple times a day. Now, if it's a thicker oil and I use a little less of it, it might last a little longer. But if you've got a smaller beard, it'll last you longer than that. So you're looking at the initial cost and you're thinking, wow, that's $20. That's $40. It's going to last you longer than you might imagine.
I think it's a matter of perspective, isn't it? I mean, we don't blink twice about spending money on stuff that's healthy for us, maybe some multivitamins or some people with whatever vitamins you take. I've got my own things that I take for my beard growth. Biotin, I'm a big proponent of biotin. There may be some out there, you don't need that stuff. Well, in my opinion, it helps me. Good. I'm a big proponent of biotin, so I take it daily as part of my supplement routine. Potassium, zinc, just certain things that again, watching videos from the gentleman we've been talking about all show that's really, I believe, help not just with my beard growth, but also the strength, because I don't want just a long beard. You can see a really long beard that just does not look healthy.
Correct.
I want a healthy beard, right?
Yes.
Well, Bob, you talked to us. We got about 10 minutes left. You've been talking to us about the going and traveling more to do a lot more of these beard competitions. And if you're okay with it. If not, we talked about something last night about some things you're trying to get together with some folks down there in Florida. If you're comfortable talking about it, talk about it. If not, we'll go on to something else.
I can talk about anything. You'll learn that about me pretty quickly. But yeah, I don't mind because it is just at that stage presently.
Okay.
I've talked to a couple of different guys here locally who are involved in the bearding community. Some involved in some makers, company owners, about maybe putting a Facebook group together of just Florida beard companies, beard oil companies, beard butter, beard balm, beard care companies, just out of Florida.
And you guys got quite a few there in Florida.
Oh, my goodness. There are dozens of them easily.
Right.
And I think, but when you start talking about putting a platform together and your heart's in the right place and you bring a bunch of folks onto that platform, and then you begin to wonder, well, okay, was this a good idea or not? But because people tend to come together and they'll squabble and they'll moan and they'll this and they'll that, and that's not the point. Right. The point is to bring owners to a place where, particularly Floridians, but my goodness, anybody could buy from there. There's no money in it to us. It's just to gather people together. And so they can say, hey, look, we're bringing a new product to the company, or, hey, look, we're going to try a new oil, or, hey, look, we've got this going on. Or there's a competition coming up and we're going to be there vending. I think that would be a great place to have several voices that you could find in one location. And I'm in Florida, so it just makes sense that that's where I'd do it.
100%.
Talking about it, and that's the stage we're at right now.
I love it. I love the idea. I love the concept about it. I love the fact that you're getting involved in things like that, because I know a lot of people in the community, whether you and Miss Terry like it or not, look up to you and appreciate the wisdom, the kindness that comes, that just comes from both of you guys. I just think
they're just a bunch of cookie grubbers. I want to hear it.
Well, that's a bonus. I will say that Miss Terry made me some cookies and sent me, and I'll have to say, and I was comparing because I think Dino and Steve got some, and I was like, how long did it take you guys to eat yours? Because I had mine knocked out in about a day and a half, and that's a big old tin of cookies. But anyway, yeah, cookies, brewer, absolutely. But guys, since I've been involved in the community, I will say this: I love just the camaraderie, the community that's involved with it. The same with the Santa community. The Santa community is huge. If you are watching this and you are a newer Santa and you're not really sure where to start, please reach out. Just like in the bearded, as far as bearded questions, if I don't know the answer, there's plenty of people in this community on this chat right now to where we can get you pointed in the right direction. I am not above saying I don't know. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, but I will get you the answer or point you in the direction that you can. I think that's wisdom. I don't think that's admitting. Don't ever be afraid to admit if you don't know something, but if you could point them in the right direction. That's why I wanted to have Bob on here tonight. There's just questions that I think that coming from him and answers coming from him that would sound and be a lot better than coming from me. You guys hear me, every Saturday. We will be having a show. Hopefully, I've reached out. I think we've about finalized it. The next show coming up will be over artificial beards, more specifically ZM hair is what I'm hoping for. So we'll be talking about that and why a Santa would use that, because there's Santas out there with, in my opinion, nice beards that still wear the artificial beard. I did 1 year. I won't ever do it again personally. It was just very hot, but I'm always amazed. And since we're talking about beards, in this series, I do want to talk about that and answer questions that I get a lot. So the biggest questions I get is usually it's how much product should you use? What kind of product should you use? One of the other big questions I get, Bob, is can I use shampoo or just any kind of soap on my beard? You've answered that question. So I think we've answered a lot of questions tonight. I want to throw it on to you to add any last minute advice or wisdom that you may have, or just anything you want to talk about.
Well, first of all, thank you for considering giving me a call and saying, hey, join me on, let's talk a little bit. And really, guys, that's and gals, that's all we're doing. We're just sitting here talking about something that we're both fond of. But Santa Tom brings an interesting point and concept. There's a lot of crossover between the Santa community and the beard community.
Yes.
And I can tell you from the bearded community that if there's any way that any of us in the bearded community can be of service to you guys in the Santa community, hop on the train, brothers.
Right.
And get on board with us, and you'll find that camaraderie, and it will help, I think, anyway. And Santa Tom can tell you more about that than I can, but I think having a confidence in your beard as being an important part of your persona will be beneficial to you. But beyond that, I think the camaraderie will be beneficial to you. And I know that's what I enjoy from it all. These people, they're people out there all over the country and maybe all over the world that I would have never thought about talking with or meeting. And yet now, I've made some good friends in this community.
Yes.
And hey, who can't use some more of that in 2026?
100%. I 100% agree. And also something I wanted to mention earlier, but I just thought about, we're talking about all these products and the pricing and all that. If you are a professional Santa Claus, just for your information, that is a tax write-off at the end of the year, because it is taking care. And I have done some research and talked to some tax folks about this, and they said absolutely, if it's part of your business, you can use beard products as a tax write-off. The same that if you do content creation, you can use your camera, your computer, whatever that you use as part of your business. So take advantage of that. And when I better be careful how I say take advantage. I'm not saying take advantage of the government. Don't ever do that. But take advantage of the opportunity that you can use it as a tax write-off. And, so, hey, use that with your spouse. I can buy all the beard products I want because I can use it as a tax write-off, right?
Well, absolutely. And in order to use something for a business tax write-off, you do not have to itemize.
There you go. Yes. I have a sole proprietorship. I don't have a what's the other one, Bob? Help me out.
An LLC?
LLC, just because it's just me right now. When Candace comes back to helping me out as Mrs. Claus, probably go with the LLC. But as a sole proprietorship, that's exactly what it is. It's just additional for anybody out there that's interested. Going way off topic, but it's just an addition to the income that you're already making. So it makes things a lot easier and makes things a whole lot easier for me. I just want to say thank you again, Bob. Everybody's saying thank you. Appreciate you so much. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Guys, I will be coming back on. This one wasn't planned, but so many of you have reached out and asking questions. I couldn't have thought or asked of a better person to come on to answer those questions. So guys, stay positive, guys. Bob brought it up. In 2026, we need this more than ever. And I end the show with a certain saying every week, just like I do my videos, and it stays true. Bob, you and Miss Terry stay warm down there in Florida. You guys stay warm and prosperous wherever you're at in the country. We will see you guys next Saturday. And remember, This world could use a little kindness. So be kind to one another today, now, more than ever. And as always, keep Christmas in your heart year round. Appreciate each and every one of you guys.